Alrighty guys, we're back for Boros tokens, and this is a Duskmourn standard brew, and I'm Redcat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. We got all four Arabella, Abandoned Doll. This is a 2-mana 1/3 legendary artifact creature. It's rocking Boros colors up there. Whenever Arabella attacks, it deals X damage to each opponent, and you gain X life, where X is the number of creatures you control with power 2 or less. Of course, we're going to be trying to go wide here with lots of creatures power 2 or less. Easiest way to do that early on is going to be Gleeful Demolition. All four of them packed in, of course, sorcery speed, destroy target artifact. If you control that artifact, you get 3 1/1 red Phyrexian goblin creature tokens. Of course, we have other artifacts packed in that we would not mind popping with the Gleeful Demolition. Actually, a new one here, Clockwork Percussionist. 1 mana 1/1 with haste. It is an artifact creature, of course. Now, when it dies, exile the top card of your library. You may play it until the end of your next turn. Not bad at all. Of course, pairing with that demolition beautifully. Also pairing with the demolition, of course, we got all four Novice Inspectors giving us those clue tokens. And while we're going wide and getting artifacts onto the board and whatnot, Warden of the Inner Sky, of course, making the cut as a 4 of. It pairs beautifully with everything in here. It does get above the power 2 that Arabella wants pretty easy, but that doesn't mean that we don't want them in the same build, you know what I mean? We also have a 1 of Yotian Frontliner, and that should do the thing every now and then. More ways to go wide, we got all four Resolute Reinforcements, of course. The flash really does come in handy, but as we know, it's not unheard of to go turn 1 Warden, turn 2 Resolute Reinforcements on your turn, just ignoring the flash. That way you can tap all 3 down for the Warden's ability. Also, the Scry 1 always comes in handy on the Warden, doesn't it? Our choice spot removal is actually going to be all for Get Lost this time round, mainly because it hits enchantments as well, and I think this is the style of deck that gets absolutely devastated by cards like Temporary Lockdown. Alright, getting to the top end already, we have all four Enduring Innocence. This is a 3 mana 2/1 enchantment creature with a lifelink. Whenever 1 or more other creatures you control with power 2 or less enter, you draw a card. Of course, this ability triggers only once each turn, but also whenever Enduring Innocent dies. If it was a creature, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. It's an enchantment. It gives us a little note here just in case we're confused by that. It's not a creature anymore after that. So we played this in Azorius enchantments, and it was kind of like a little MVP. I think it'll do the thing in here as well, of course. Got a couple Anim Pakals because generating those gnomes really work well with the Arabella, and the gnomes are also artifacts that work well with the demolition. So on the top end, guys, we have a Wandering Rescuer. This is a 5 mana 3/4 legendary creature with flash, convoke, and double strike, and other tapped creatures you control have hexproof. Super interesting card, man. Should this just be the other top end convoke, Knight Errant of Eos? Yeah, maybe, but I want to play with new cards. You know what I mean? And then also, it actually seems relatively decent, doesn't it? Especially when it doesn't just have to be like tapped for the convoke. It could also be you tapped your creatures for the Warden or just attacking with them as well. Just like hexproof should really come in handy. All right, we also have Painter's Studio and Defaced Gallery here, guys. Which I guess we should do some rearranging because more often than not, you're going to be playing the Gallery first at 2 mana. So 1 and a red. Whenever you attack, attacking creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. Interesting stuff, man. And then the other side of the room is at 3 mana. It's Painter's Studio. When you unlock this room, exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play them until the end of your next turn. So lots of ways to restock our hand or just see more off the top between the Studio and the Percussionist. It should be a relatively sustainable deck list, right? So as far as like the Defaced Gallery goes, you should be able to choose what triggers first, and you want the Arabella ability to go off first. That way your creatures still have like power 2 or less. And then you want the Gallery to go off to boost all of your creatures. That's definitely noteworthy. In the mana base, guys, we're leaning a little bit towards the plains because that's what the deck is leaning towards. Got our fast land with the Forge and the Vantage, and we're also rocking a 1 of Mirrex. Honorable mentions, guys. A lot of important honorable mentions. So first of all, I thought about Chainsaw because it's an artifact that could be more removal, and then we could eventually pop the Chainsaw for the demolition or something, but I think we'll be fine. I hope we have enough artifacts packed in where we don't got to worry about that, but I'm keeping my eye on the chainsaw. So Case of the Gateway Express is one to consider, and this just comes down to, again, like, I didn't want to boost all of our creatures out of the Arabella range. I really wanted this to be an Arabella deck list, you know what I mean? Which is also why War Leader's Call actually didn't make the cut, which is super weird not to have in here, honestly. So Knight Errant of Eros I talked about a little bit. Maybe that should be in place of the Wandering Rescuer. Oh my goodness. Some other important honorable mentions, guys. Midnight Mayhem is one that I'm keeping my eye on. Hop to It could have been pretty cool in here. Delny, yep. Sanguine Evangelist, Emodane's Recruiter, my goodness. And then the Jolly Balloon Man probably is going to get a dedicated deck list at some point here in the upcoming weeks. So not this time around. Okay, guys, hopefully I went over the deck list well enough. Either way, I do my dandiest to save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video, so look forward to that. In the meantime, let's go ahead, take this into some ranked, and see how we do. All right, we'll see if we can get right into that first game. Heck yeah, we do. In the meantime, though, what am I expecting from the build? I don't know, because I don't know what people are playing right now. I don't know where the meta is settling. We're still in the first few days of the set release. I want it to be good, obviously, but we go first. I think we'll give this a shot. No 1-drops, but that's okay. I think this is totally fine. In fact, while I'm not satisfied with the hand, this would be a really weird mulligan, right? I think so. We'll try to get the turn to Arabella. Candy Trail and an island. What on earth? Excuse me, guys. I'm losing my voice, apparently. Oh, look at the little... I didn't notice this. I haven't been paying attention to the backgrounds recently. There's like a little game console plugged into the TV. That's adorable. All right, Arabella, stick around for the turn because we got a really good turn next turn, huh? Percussionist into Demolitionist. Maybe we'll see a 1-drop off the Percussionist. Or Percussionist into Demolition, which we will now call the combo of Demolitionist. Well, I guess a counterspell could happen. Well, the Percussionist is down. The only thing, it might be the Candy Trail sticking, by the way. Instead of going Demolition, I don't want this to get countered. We're probably going to go Reinforcements, and I guess we do that before combat. We'll see if it is a counterspell. It is not a counterspell. This is still a pretty good turn. Okay, Candy Trail, they gain 3, draw a card. Arabella doing 4 damage here. That's pretty good. It's not bad at all. Demolition Field, Synthesizer. Okay. Okay, guys. So, first of all, how do we want to... Oh, another Demolitionist. Wow. Or a Demolition. I don't know. I keep saying Demolitionist. I'm confusing myself here. I blame the Percussionist, right? Right, so... The gallery, I guess we could test that out, make sure that we can order these properly before our creatures get the boost. That's probably the best thing to do in game 1 here, actually test that out. Oh, we could also pop the Synthesizer, but I'm just going to go for maximum amount of damage this turn. See what we see on top, too. Enduring Innocence for next turn. I guess we could always go Reinforcements as well. No, I want to test this. Let's get that gallery down. I want to make sure that I built the deck correctly. Yes, so we get to order it. We put Arabella on top. So it does 6. And then it boosts all of them. Yep. That's pretty sick, dude. Okay, let's hope I don't regret not popping the Synthesizer. I think we'll be okay. Yeah, GG opponent. We went relatively fast there. There is honestly probably a more optimized way as well. Well, I guess we got an extra 3 damage on the gallery. If we would have went Reinforcements, it would have just been an extra 2 damage on the Arabella. Outside of that, was there a better way to get more 1/1s on the board too? Like if I would have kept the Percussionist around, the Percussionist also could have swung. And that would have also gotten the boost off the gallery. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's one to like go back and rewatch, see if there was a more optimized way. Didn't really matter because we had a lot of value going on. That was cool stuff, man. That was a really good first game. Also sounds like my voice is starting to come back to me. That's good news at least, right? That way I don't have to keep clearing my throat in everyone's ear. Oh, man. Guys, what have you been thinking of the new set so far? Opponent goes first. I think... Oh, geez. Okay, I'll try it. We have a lot to draw into, man. Like, we want to see some of our 1-drops. We have so many 1-drops in here. But also turn 2 Arabella could really prove itself again. The deuce on their turn. So we don't have to worry about a counterspell here, guys. That's good news. Let's go turn 2 Arabella. Yeah, Deduce is instant speed, so that was surprising. Mirrex, passing it. Arabella number 2. Alright. I'll go reinforcements before combat. See what happens here. See if they go for a counterspell or something. It's going to be 3 steps ahead. Alright. Let's swing. Pokes 1 through. Or 2 through, I guess, right? Because of the ability as well. Alright, Percussionist. Not bad at all, guys. Let's see if it lands. Let's see if the Demolition lands. For again, what we're now calling the Demolitionist combo with the Percussionist. Okay, let's see if it happens. We get to see 1 off the top. Could be a land. That would be cool, right? It's reinforcements, which also is not terrible. So I'm with Arabella for... Oh, a flanker coming down and actually flanking this Arabella too. Luckily, we have another one in hand, and we still get the 4 through, which is pretty significant. But also, while we have these goblins on the board, we're going to want to consider the Defaced Gallery. Okay, 3rd mana is not bad, and we only have that Resolute Reinforcements until the end of this turn, guys. As tempting as it is for the Anim, Pakal and stuff, we should probably utilize as many cards as possible here as they are trying to control us. Yeah, tough decisions. I would love to get that Anim Pakal down, but no guarantees that it won't get countered anyway. So let's start with the swing, actually. See what happens. Gonna be Hornlocked Whale. Okay. I don't think it matters because I'm pretty sure the token disappears. We'll put it on the bottom. Yes, the token is out of here. And then 2. Getting through. Beautiful. We don't want the turn to end. We'll lose the reinforcements. We want to make sure we try to play that. Okay, still going wide, but this is very much a Sunfall style deck list, guys. So they go for the draw on the clue. So we can't be too surprised if they wipe the board. Sunfall. Gasp. Okay. Let's go. So that's a pretty big incubator, honestly. More mana isn't bad. Let's go, let's set up with Arabella and keep the Get Lost open. How you guys feel about that? Well, yeah, if they power up incubator on their turn, they might not do that, though. Never mind. I'm just going to set up the Defaced Gallery instead. Yeah, I mean, they're a control deck, so there's a possibility where they just want to keep all their mana open anyways. Actually, they're just going to get the Hornlocked Whale down for 6 mana. Not bad, opponent. Not bad at all. The ward cost on here is going to be super painful. But we do have the Get Lost for it. We do want to keep an eye out if we see another Gleeful Demolition. That's an easy way and a cheap way to get rid of that incubator token too. 14. I hope this is okay. And they're tapped out right now too, so we should do this. We should. Getting rid of a 6/6 while we can without like a without a counter spell or something. Yeah. Yeah, that makes the most sense for sure. I'd love to see this Anim Pakal do a thing today. Of course, we only got these two in here. Okay, there's the 4/4. Are they going to go for a swing? I can only imagine they want to keep this as a blocker. Demolition Field. Are they going to use the other map? No, they want to keep this 4 open. Another Arabella is not bad. Tempted by the studio, guys, because if we find a mana, we could play it, get the Anim Pakal down as well. But we could also see something a little better here to help us get around this 4/4. All right, let's see it. Let's unlock this room. It is a Percussionist and an Enduring Innocence. Well, Percussionist is the play. And that Enduring Innocence could be really good, man. Luckily, this is until the end of your next turn. We could swing, we could get some through. They block the Arabella for sure. The biggest issue here is we don't really know what else they have in hand right now, too. They could completely ruin our play. I'm going to say no attacks, unfortunately, guys. I'm tempted by it because we get a couple extra points through, right? The Arabella would poke for 2 if they do block this. Then the Percussionist pokes for 2 because the gallery boosts it. It's a flanker, so it doesn't look like we would have gotten anything through there. Block here, block here. Percussionist would have helped us see an extra one off the top, though. And then if we saw mana, we could have played the other Arabella out of hand. Maybe it was a swing. Maybe. Because, yeah, the 2 still would have gotten through with the first Arabella. They do go for the swing here. I'm just going to take the 4. These control matches are always super tricky. All right, we gotta... I mean, restocking our hand against control is definitely the go-to here. So let's try the Enduring Innocence. Plus, we don't want to lose it. So we'll lose it at the end of the turn. They do have a full-blown counter spell for it. And they still have 4 mana open as well. Well, with the second Arabella and everything, I mean, we definitely go for this. We're going to try to get as much damage through on the Arabella as possible. Uh-oh. It is out of here, guys. You know what's a good trade for us? Percussionist into flanker. I'm going for that swing. It's not a bad trade at all. See what we see off the top with the Percussionist. Ooh, Gleeful Demolition can pop the 4/4, or we could pop one of the maps that they gave us. That's actually going to be a tough decision. I'm going to take the 4 for sure. We want as much on this board as possible. They're actually going to go map token after the swing. Maybe they were expecting something different there. Find a surveil land. With 3 still in hand, I think we're in danger. I really do. I think this has been an uphill battle since the Sunfall. But I don't think it's impossible. I really don't. I don't think it's worth the concede either, so. So more mana. So Gleeful Demolition could pop the 4/4, but I think going wide's probably a little better. The problem is, if we go wide and they wipe the board again, then it's just like a GG, right? They'll keep the 4/4 as a blocker then after we go wide if they don't wipe the board. We also have to remember that Restless Anchorage is chilling. With 6 mana, doing everything is probably fine. My apologies, opponent. I am thinking, buddy. It's 3 mana to power up the anchorage. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 total. All right, we risk it with a go wide strategy. Let's do it, guys. Gleeful Demolition, Anim, Pakal, Arabella for the turn, and no swings. That way we don't lose anything to the Restless Anchorage, and we're just gonna try. Look at this, no counters for these, man. Wow. Wow. So if we swing, the Anim Pakal gives us a gnome. Okay, never mind. Okay, first of all, we should have swung after just playing the Anim Pakal and kept the rest in hand. But I talked myself into the swing after the fact. So if they take care of a couple of these with the anchorage, it's fine, since the +1/+1 counter went onto the Anim Pakal, and another counter will go onto the Pakal next turn. Oh, also, I think I confused myself thinking that they could power up both of these anchorages. But it looks like they still might have something. It's an Elspeth Smite. Okay. At least that's out of their hand and not hitting the Arabella next turn. I go for the block on the gnome. Anyways, we should have swung and then played the Arabella and then played the Gleeful Demolition as well in our main phase 2. They go for the swing. I'm taking it. Could it be a Sunfall? Is it likely a Sunfall? Probably. But it's fine. It's fine. We're risking it. At this point in the game against control, you just gotta risk it. Temporary lockdown. Anim Pakal's sticking around, dude. We might, honestly, we might be okay. Oh no, it was just a bunch of tokens too. So the only thing that's actually under the lockdown is Arabella. All right, let's go for that Anim Pakal swing. Okay. So you want the gnome first, then the gallery boost. That's actually really sick, dude. They got a horned locked whale. No, I'm going to send it to the bottom. We have another Anim Pakal in hand anyways. They looks like auto tapper. Or actually, I don't know what mana they actually had open over there. It doesn't look like they can power up the Restless Anchorage. They have 1 card remaining in hand. Guys, at some point, if it looks like that they're struggling to get the damage through, we do have to consider the concede. But at the same time, bro, at the same time, I'll grab a mountain. I think that's fine. I don't know. I mean, Warden's here. Got Anim Pakal number 2. I mean, they could miss. They could miss removal next turn, and we're kind of sort of getting there. I'm going to dump it all onto the board and hope, because what's the point of playing around a board wipe too? Like, if we kept Warden in hand, what's that going to do, you know? Not a lot. Get lost. Oh. Well, we'll have map tokens to activate on our turn. Horned locked whale. I'd love to see some removal off the top. They go Demolition Field. We'll go ahead and grab a Plains. They're actually helping us a lot by thinning out our deck, right? And yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. No, it's mana anyways. Okay. Map tokens have to be tapped to sacrifice them. I was going to say maybe it's better to try to get Warden in the air, but it's going to take a couple turns based on what we have. Well, I guess technically we could still hit counters anyway, so we still try to go into the Warden. It's an Arabella on top, guys. I think we keep it. I think we keep, like, any creature at that point, right? And then we go... and then we tap it. We're going to try to fly in with this Warden when it comes time. The opponent's top decking, they do have blockers in the sky, though, with the Restless Anchorage. I guess there's no real reason to keep this Vantage here. All right, guys, come on. Come on, we can do this. We could do this. The opponent has had a lot of answers so far. It's mana. Okay. Oh, they're going to have a shuffle in the Arabella. I mean, we could decline this. I'm gonna decline. I want that Arabella. I don't want to shuffle and then see another land off the top, even though it would still be deck thinning, I guess. All right, so let's see. So they have Restless Anchorage, I guess. So Arabella comes down. I guess we'll put a counter onto the Warden, because we could swing wide. They have a block with the Horn blocked way. I think we have to wait on that and try to get the excess damage through with the Arabella. Mirrex is actually not too bad here. Do they have another demolition field? How many of those did they pop? They popped 3 demolition fields so far. All right, call me crazy, guys. I'm going to keep it on top. Swing with the Warden. They do have a chump block. But I'll tell you what, this Warden's looking pretty devastating. 1 Restless Anchorage off the board. They do activate their Mirrex as well. Hopefully they miss off the top. Come on. It's draw 2, surveil 2. Oh, crap. Or surveil 2 first, and then they draw 2. That's not good. That's not good at all. They find mana. I'm on the edge of my seat, dude. This has been a pretty good game so far. We've showcased quite a bit of resilience, and it really hasn't felt like we've been completely out of this one yet. Even though maybe it should have felt that way. Mirrex on top. I think that's acceptable because we can continuously every turn generate a 1/1, which is actually pretty significant when we're in a matchup like this. Mirrex earlier actually would have been huge. 3 steps ahead. Draw 2, then discard a card. Wow. Huh. They could have copied their whale with that too, right? As a little bit of a surprise. On the ground. Either way, they have a great blocker here. They still have enough to activate. Oh, maybe that's what it was, right? They didn't want to spend 4 to not be able to block in the air. No, that makes a lot of sense then. I wasn't paying too much attention to what mana they actually have remaining. All right, Mirrex. We activate Mirrex because we want as much damage going through with the Arabella as possible. Then we swing wide. We still don't know what's in their hand, but I mean, we definitely swing wide here. 4 on the Arabella brings them down to 3. They can power up Anchorage to block in the air. And they can block 1 of these on the ground, and 4 should still be getting through. But like I said, we still don't know what's in their hand. Could be an Elspeth Smite. We got there, guys. That's awesome, man. Okay. Like, I wasn't in that victory until literally the very last moment because control just has it sometimes, you know? Like, it's sometimes it feels like they always have it. And that easily could have been an Elspeth Smite using their Restless Anchorage that was not tapped down yet, right? And that would have brought them down to 1. And then we would have lost the Arabella, which would have been devastating. So it ended up working out. Good stuff. Honestly, the Arabella just like slipping that extra damage through, kind of getting around like blockers and stuff. It's really sick. Really, really cool. Guys, while I have you here in the middle of the video, make sure you check out that description where we do got that Discord link, as well as that Patreon link too, if you're interested in supporting the channel that way. Or joining either of those up. And then also, while we're talking all that YouTube nonsense, if you do like the video, make sure you actually drop it a like. And if you do enjoy the channel, then consider subscribing as well. Really does help out the channel. All right, opponent goes first. This is, in fact, a mulligan. If we had a red source, maybe, but we don't have any artifacts either for the demolitions. Let's drop that mulligan. Much better? Question mark. Where's all our 1-drops early on, man? Super weird. opening hands. We have so many 1-drops in here. I hope I don't regret this. I'm going to send the planes. I hope I... No. I'll send the Mirrex. I don't know. Okay. Let's just make a decision, right? Heartfire hero on turn 1, but guess what? No ley line. That's good news, I guess. Okay. Another gallery. Gonna be Slick Shot Show Off. They swing with the hero. That's not a terrible turn 2 for us. Like, we're not too sad about that. Keep Get Lost and the reinforcements open. The Enduring Innocence is not terrific here, especially when we definitely want to see the 3rd mana, and I sent the 3rd mana, so... Alright, so we wait till the very last moment, see how much they boost up the Slick Shot Show Off or the hero, and consider the Get Lost. They might not boost at all. They might just say, I'm not risking it. Just take a couple damage and wait till we tap out, right? And we turn inside out. It does... Which one do we want to take out here, guys? If they throw the hero, then we're in danger. But they're obviously, they're boosting... Okay, I guess we'll pop the hero before anything else, because if it is going to be throw hero at face, that is sorcery speed, so luckily, at the very least, we'll prevent that from happening. They do want a little extra damage going through on the hero, so on the stack, they actually go for the turn inside out. Oh, crap, dude. 2 turn inside out, so we're going to be taking 7. They're going to manifest dread twice. Crap, that's really, really bad. Okay, well, that probably couldn't have gone any worse. Yeah, so we found a 1-drop. Let's go ahead and just keep the reinforcements open. That was devastating, dude. So if I would have just there wasn't too much to do unless they would have gotten really greedy and tried all 3 of those anyways, right? Which I don't think they were going to. I think it was fine to try to pop the hero on the stack of the first turn inside out, because who would have thought that it would have been 2 more of them in hand? I guess, I don't know. That might have been my fault, right? I'm gonna go map token. Keep that hero on top. Full swing. What do you guys think? Do we just like chump the 3/3 and just risk the death anyway? Well, yeah, we do, because all they need is to play something and the show off goes to 4 anyways. Or all they need to do is boost the show off is what I mean. So we might as well risk this. Get the good game ready, right? Because that is a super risk. It's going to be Dreadmaw's Ire, given trample to the one we blocked. Good game, opponent. My goodness. Yeah, so, I mean, technically, if I would have passed priority back, there's no guarantee that they would have dumped their other turn inside outs on top of the hero. But if they would have, right? If they did take that risk and dump it all onto the hero, they would want to wait. Yeah, they'd want to do 1 on the stack at a time, right? So... No, I think we were fine to try to pop that. Outside of that, maybe we tried popping the show off instead, and then they just put the turn inside out on the show off though too. So I think we were stuck between a rock and a hard place there for sure. You know, a card I always consider for this. I didn't put it in the honorable mentions, right? Soul Partition. Soul Partition's a card we want to keep an eye on. However, it needs to be in a deck that goes fast enough to where the opponent really doesn't have much chance to play the card that we exiled with the Soul Partition again, right? Because it taxes them an extra 2. Oh, this is an interesting hand. Opponent goes first. See, our only white source is the Mirrex. Mirrex is a 1-of in here. But we could find a white source on the Percussionist. We're leaning white in the mana base. Now we'll mulligan. I do think... Oh, now our only red source is the Mirrex. What are you doing? What are you doing, huh? First of all, I think it's still worth the one of Mirrex. But that's a little awkward as it's trying its best to be the mana fixing in these two hands. We'll send the Wandering Rescuer, which is unfortunate because I really would have wanted to see this today, but... Alright, guys. Last game of the evening. Heartfire Hero. No! Get out of here. When do I want to use this red source? Let's go Inspector. I didn't want to drop to 5 here, I'm pretty sure. So hopefully we find a red source or one of our dual lands. Oh, Valley Quest Caller. Alright, we take the 2 for sure. Keep the Inspector around for a little bit. So we have an option, right? We could go Mirrex into Arabella, which isn't terrible, but then we don't have the red source for Gleeful Demolition or Clockwork Percussionist. We could go Clockwork Percussionist, helps us see a little bit more off the top. However, if we just go... First of all, Mirrex is coming down. We go Gleeful Demolition, pop the clue, we're going wide, but then we don't have the red source to get the Arabella down when it comes time too. Let's just risk it with the Arabella, especially since this is some life gain. It's definitely really bad to see more red cards off the top after that fact, but we'll see what we end up drawing into. Maybe the deck list, I mean, I guess the mana hasn't been too punishing this whole time, but the opening hands have been particularly bad, right? I think so. I think the opening hands have been janky. How could we optimize that a bit? It feels bad like dropping the Mirrex. Maybe we just... No, I think I like the Mirrex still. That's tough though. It's a really tough decision because how often is the one Mirrex going to actually hold us up? Not too often, I would say. I think that after dropping the mulligan with the first Mirrex, then I think the second time we see it as the only source, then we can call that unlucky, right? They go Rockface Village onto the hero. They go for that swing. We're gonna take it. Ow. My face. No, it's another red card. Okay, we should probably draw on the clue, right? Or keep the Get Lost open. That works too. We'll keep them both open, right? But like, the problem is, if we draw off the clue and we do see a red source, then at least we can play the Percussionist. It could be a chump blocker. Alright, I talked myself into that. Yeah, if we are already in danger, it's a red source. Let's go. Alright. Gleeful Demolition can pop the Arabella, but that's obviously not what we want to do. So do we go full swing? we might risk the opponent winning next turn off of full swing, but let's do it. Let's do it. You guys know I like risky plays. We're going back up to 15 off that Arabella, so that's not terrible. Keeping the Percussionist around. Gleeful Demolition, see more off the top. Maybe another red source. Play the Defaced Gallery. Yeah, so first of all, like, the risky play with the clue paid off. So why not risk it with a full swing too? It's cool stuff. At the very least, if we were going to keep a blocker back, it would be Inspector, right? That way, Percussionist can still be popped next turn to the Demolition. Oh, buddy, here it comes. My face! We're alive! We could have easily died there, right? No, actually, we couldn't have. I was going to say they could have thrown it to our face. This might not be the type of deck that throws them, but either way, the village was the only one remaining, so that red source can only be spent to cast creature spells. We do find mana here, guys, which is huge for us. It is pain, so I think we start with the Gleeful Demolition and see what we see. My apologies, opponent, for taking so much time here. going to be an Inspector. Interesting. That does give us another artifact. A forge. We do have the Defaced gallery, but it's much better to go Gleeful Demolition here because this is so much life gain, guys. All right, unfortunately they are popping the Arabella, but this is such a good swing. Yep, back up to 13, brings him down to 4. Arabella is dead, but there's no way that we held back that swing, like absolutely no way. Oh, another Monstrous Rage onto the Heartfire hero. The trample's going to be super brutal here, but we could double block with the Inspector. Oh, no, Manifold Mouse. No, double strike onto the hero. Wow, good game, opponent. Oh, man. Oh, crap. Yeah, they're going all into this hero. Actually, there's no way, even if we full block, right? I don't think there's going to be a way here. I'll tell you what, we put up one heck of a fight, huh? We really did. So we block here, jump here. Oh, that has trample too, unfortunately. Either way, the double strike tramples where we'd really want to plug these, but it does not matter, unfortunately. That's brutal. All right, 8 blockers. 2 gets through on the Raging Mouse, and then there's going to be... How much is that? Are we alive? We're alive! Oh my goodness, guys. Down to 1. Okay. So, we don't really have too much in hand that's gonna, or anything in the deck that's actually gonna deal with this, but that's pretty cool that we ended up surviving there, right? Keeping the forge doesn't make any sense because we're at 1 anyways, so we'll just keep the planes open. See what we see on the Painter's Studio. This could have been anyone's game easily, guys. Easily. All right. We do have the Get Lost. And I guess at that point, we'll drop him the GGs and pop the hero. It was a very good game, opponent. And I appreciate your deck list. I appreciate that it's just some fun mice. They got the quest caller in there to boost their mice too. Like, it's absolutely nothing to complain about when they're just playing something fun, you know? All right, guys. 42 minutes in. Let's go talk about this deck list. Let's do this. Boros tokens. It felt all right. The worst part about the deck list was the opening hands just felt terrible. And that just might have just come down to today, you know? More testing required for sure. Is this one to put on the do not craft list? I think that's going to depend, right? If you already have a lot of the stuff from the old Boros tokens, you're already rocking, or you already had like the Warden crafted already or something, right? Then this might be worthwhile because Percussionist is just a common. And then Arabella is an uncommon, right? Which is actually pretty sick. And the Painter Studio and Defaced Gallery is also just an uncommon too. So relatively cheap there. The most expensive thing here is the most expensive new thing is the Enduring Innocence, which you actually didn't get to see do too much today, right? I don't think so. So could we like trade these out? You could probably trade them out for something else that you enjoyed from old Boros tokens, or we had a lot of honorable mentions. A lot of those honorable mentions were, in fact, 3-mana cards too. So definitely something to consider. Just be careful when it comes to the honorable mentions that like boost our field, because this deck is heavily leaning towards Arabella. If you ever boost them above the power of 2, Arabella, of course, gets much, much weaker. And is Arabella the way to go for Boros? I'm not 100% certain, but it was really cool and a really fun card to build around and to have out on the board too. Really cool swings and stuff, really fun things to think about. Is it worth the 4 of? As a legendary creature, we should probably have 3, but it is the main build around as well, and it is an artifact. Sometimes it's going to be the only artifact you see. So seeing 2 of them isn't terrible. You could always pop the first one to your demolition and then play the second one too. That's, I guess, a possibility, right? I don't know how often you're going to want to do that, but Painter Studio, when it reads like, whenever you attack attacking creatures you control, get that +1/+0 until end of turn. I got to keep my eye on this card, you know what I mean? I don't know where else it could go, but I really do like that ability, and I love that it helps us sustain later on in the game with the Painter Studio too. It's really cool stuff, man. All 4 Get Lost was probably worth it, I would say, right? Probably. There's going to be like there's going to be rare moments too, and I keep bringing this up with Demolition, right? But yeah, even though we have that whole artifact theme, there's still going to be games where you just don't see your artifacts. It is possible to pop one of your creatures with the Get Lost, okay? Or enchantment, right? Because we do have enchantments in here with the rooms. Get a couple map tokens, then pop those map tokens with the Demolition. It's not going to happen often, but it is a line of play. That's another reason to have Get Lost in here. Yeah, I guess like it would have to be very, very specific, and it probably wouldn't end up being a creature because you really wouldn't want to pop like Warden. And if you pop one of your other creatures, a lot of them are already artifacts too. So it would have to be like probably the Defaced Gallery, and then the Get Lost pops that, you get your map tokens, and then you go Gleeful Demolition. Even that doesn't even seem that great because now your gallery's gone, so it's not like you're buffing the tokens wide or anything. So maybe you would have Arabella on the board then. I guess that might still be worth it because then you'd swing, you get some life gain and stuff. The life gain on this is actually what really pushes it too. If this was just damage, I don't even know if it would be worth the build around. But since it's damage and life gain, I really like that, man. The Wandering Rescuer. I said the Enduring Innocence was the most expensive thing. I mean, 4 rare versus 1 mythic, I guess technically, since this is the 4 of, I guess technically, but this is a mythic, and this is also unnecessary. It's one of those things, if you already had Boros tokens or Boros Convoke, then you probably already have the Knight Errant of Eos as well. You could just swap that out, easy peasy. And no worries about that either, because we didn't even get to test Rescuer today. And as a one of, how often is this actually going to do the thing? I don't know. Maybe we actually want more of them. Maybe. Probably not. Probably not. Not in an Arabella style Boros. If we were going wide in a different fashion, then maybe I could see more of those potentially. I don't know what to change, guys. I think the deck list performed well enough to say that we don't have to change anything, but I am a little confused by how janky the opening hands were, or maybe I'm just like being way too hard on the opening hands and I couldn't see the correct paths. That's very possible as well. I'm just going to say more testing required. And in Pakal, I do like the 2 of in here for sure. I think the extra gnome generation is really going to go a long way in a deck list like this, especially with Arabella and everything. So, all right, guys, enough rambling, huh? If you made it this far into the video for real, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you. Let me know what you thought of the deck list down in the comments. Let me know, what does your Boros tokens deck list look like? What kind of cards do you have in there? Were a lot of the honorable mentions in your deck list? If so, let me know. Or always feel free to drop the deck list too. Just make sure it's not a link, because links will automatically get deleted in the comments. You got to actually put it in like the list or text format. I don't know what to call that right now. You guys know what I mean? But all right. Anyways, thanks again for being here, and I will see you in the next video.